God, yeah, girl.
I did it. I'm a big girl.
You are a big girl,
I'm a
so
big girl.
and you can handle the shuffle.
All right, let me shuffle this. Try not to get a new deck out, but I guess I found a new deck. Oh yeah, these are in order.
Ooh,
Look how
gonna
pretty
need.
they are if you're
They're
watching us on YouTube.
so
You need
pretty.
this deck. You need this deck. Okay.
You
We had
need
so much fun
this
making it.
deck.
You know what? Every time it tells me I'm being recorded. Okay. All right, we're looking for energies for October. Okay.
While Laura's shuffling, I cannot believe it's October.
No.
WTF?
What goes around? Six of Diamonds. Candy's card.
Yay!
So this card has a piggy bank on it. It has a like a boomerang, and it has the tree stump
Oh,
from
treehouse.
Treehouse.
Oh,
Candy's old yoga studio.
oh, break my little heart apart.
We have a little memory of that, so that's cute because you own the yoga studio. We have little secrets. We've got Easter eggs. They're
We
in
do.
here.
Tay Tay, you got nothing on us. We got
That's
Easter
right.
eggs all over our Oracle deck.
So yeah, well, let me just start with I mean, we'll talk about it personally, but what I really feel is actually like a balancing happening in October. I mean, that's what sixes are, right? Sixes are supposed to be coming into balance. They make other people feel like they're in balance, even if they don't feel like they're actually in balance themselves. And of course, the area of balance could be anything, but because we got a diamond, the most basic meaning of the Six of Diamonds is debts coming into balance. So it's funny because I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not, but right around the time of tax, like I was doing a cardology workshop, or we were doing a cardology workshop in town around tax day in April. And somebody that we follow sent out like a post or something about it. And it's like the tax date has moved around a couple times, but now it is currently April 15th, which is the Six of Diamonds. Like there could not be a more perfect day to have taxes due. So I'm just wondering if the person that set that is a cardology person.
Did they know? Or were they just being divinely guided?
Yeah, so that's what the literal meaning is finances coming into balance, debts being repaid, or I mean, I kind of feel like I feel like there's like a global energy around this. Usually we do these readings personally, right? But like to me, this almost feels like, I don't know how it's going to look, but like this idea that we are, even if it doesn't look like it, we're starting to move toward this more equitable balance of money in people's hands. And like we're going to see some of that reflected in whatever's going on in the news in October.
Sweet. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. So did you have anything coming in?
Yeah, and maybe this goes hand in hand with that, but on a personal level, which is October is a good month to sort of get your house in order. And what they were showing me is like taking an inventory. So as a Six of Diamonds, I know that I am very good at making lists and figuring out where shit is out of balance and putting a strategy in place to get myself rebalanced. So they're reminding me of all this, and they're showing how it's really easy and it's natural to swing from one end to the other. Like Laura and I are both sixes. That's what we do. You sort of go off in one direction and dive deep and sort of get absorbed, and then you slide over the other direction and have this like the adverse reaction, and then you land somewhere in the middle. So we're changing seasons, we're moving into autumn. Fall is about just sort of letting things go, letting the things that we just don't need to hang on to fall away. And they want us to be prepared for the shifts that are coming. And that starts personally and is then reflected externally. So finding some time to just sort of sit quietly or walk out in nature and allow yourself to take that inventory. It doesn't mean that you've got to like make a list of wrongs that you need to right and take action, like physical action. It doesn't mean that you need to make a mental note and take an energetic action. So even if that means energetically extending forgiveness or energetically saying sorry or energetically communicating with a loved one that maybe you're not actually on speaking terms with. So all these, this balance can come into place without actually having to have a face-to-face interaction, I guess is kind of what they're trying to communicate. So, you know, if you're on one end of the political spectrum and you've been really pissed at people that are on the other end, maybe it's time to energetically extend a hand.
That's awesome, actually.
Isn't it though? Gosh, guys.
Easier said than done, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was also thinking about how, like, I'm a club. If I have another suit, it's a spade. That's a long story, but you know, if you figure out your second, like if you look at our birthday videos on our YouTube channel, you can figure out your second card. So if that's a different suit than your first card, that would be like your secondary suit. Candy's like a double diamond. And I think underneath your main row of your hand is actually clubs. So you'd be like a diamond club, but you're such a diamond. And what I've learned from Candy as a club, clubs are like, give me all the information. But the diamonds are like, what is important? So the other energy of the diamond besides money is what do you place your money on? It's your values, what you value. So I think too, when you're thinking about this, it's like, are you spending energy on like the balance? When Candy was talking about the balance earlier, it's like, are you spending energy on something that's not actually important? So that's kind of like, and it's whether you're spinning up and like overthinking, or you're just doing an activity that is, if you really thought about it, is kind of pointless, or it's not bringing you joy anymore or whatever. It's going through that kind of, as you're going through that list Candy mentioned before, it's like, it's not just, it's like a club might hear that and go, I need to look at every single thing in my entire life. A diamond might hear that and go, I just need to pick the top 5 that are most important. So I would go from that lens, since we do have a diamond today for this month.
Yeah. And that's all great. I'm so glad you clarified some of that, because as a diamond, sometimes like I just forget that not everybody processes things through this lens. Just like, you know, as a club, Laura's used to processing the world in the way that her suits show up, just like I'm used to processing the world in the way that my suits show up. But what they were showing me is this experience that I had a couple months back where I got myself really spun up. And I was so spun up that I was like stuck almost in a mental loop of just like going over and over and over and over, which is really easy to do when you get caught up in the news cycle, or you get caught up in like social media doom scrolling, or you just keep replaying an argument over and over in your head. And I don't know exactly what happened. Well, I do know what happened. My higher self, my whisper was like, bitch, snap the fuck out of it. They didn't quite say it like that, but that I knew is what they meant. And it was like, stop, nothing in your life has changed. We want you to like bounce back 24 hours ago, rewind the emotion to 24 hours prior. How are you feeling? I was like, I was feeling really good. Then fucking focus on that. And I was like, okay, so I focused on that. And then all of that ugly, heavy, dark energy that I was sitting in, all those like spun up angry emotions, and just vanished. Which for me was such a like experiential reminder that these scenarios that we feel like we're living in are often so like self-created, just self-induced. And so in October, long story, in October, you have that power to, rather than diving deep and going like into the depths of exploring the wrongs, maybe it's just acknowledging, I don't really like the way I'm living, or I don't like the way I'm showing up in this moment, and back yourself up to the feelings that you had when you were living the life that you wanted to be living, or when you were having the joyful experience that you wanted to have. Those emotions are there for us to call on whenever we want. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes easier to get caught up in like what's being fed to us. So they're wanting you to do a little self-feeding, self-nurturing. Find the emotion that you want to exist in, joy, love, gratitude, acceptance, whatever it is. Find the memory that tags you to that, and then bring that memory forward. And let that memory be the one that you sit in and that you call back to whenever you feel like you're going down a spiral that you don't want to go down.
Well, yeah, because like the emotion flares up because whatever is triggered, but then it's the story and the mental thoughts around it that keep it going. And I was telling this to someone the other day. It's like you can be doing the exact same thing you're doing. I mean, it could be like what, unloading the dishwasher from a place of peace and joy or from a place of anger.
Yeah.
But the activity still gets done.
Right.
It's just like, how miserable are you while you're doing it? It's your choice.
Right. I
I
love
used to
it.
teach at this school, and the principal would get on every day and say, make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. And I was like, imagine that being drilled into a bunch of teenagers' heads every day. It's pretty cool.
It's so
But
true
what-
though.
Yeah. And it's so hard because like if you get into it's like we're not saying like override your emotions, but it
not
is
at all.
like you do have to kind of clear them out. I always like to think of toddlers like they just have their meltdown and then they move on. It's kind of more like that. But as adults, we go, oh, there's a story here. And then they go, ooh, tell me more about the story. Your brain's like story, 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 story,
Right.
story, story, story. And you can't climb out of it as easily as you
like-
did when you were a kid.
Binge watching the trauma. We just get stuck in it. And then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, give me more. What's in the next episode? Keep feeding me. Yeah, toddlers, they just like let it come out, let it pass. That's why breath work is so powerful, is because breath work stirs those emotions and they come out. You can't stop it. They come out and then they pass. And when we're mentally engaged, it's the passing that is uncomfortable because the brain's like, I like this loop. I can feed this story all day long. I've got chapters upon chapters. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we just let it ride.
And it's also what you're comfortable with, right? It's like what you've always, it's like if you're trying to override who you are as like a core person or how you've always been or how you were raised, then it's hard to override that. You just go back to the place where you were comfortable.
Yeah.
Something you were saying earlier reminded me of the nighttime heebie-jeebies. And we haven't talked about this in a while, but it's like that. I'm not really having them anymore. I have been waking up in the morning a little bit with like, sometimes with just shit I'm supposed to be doing. The higher selves are like, hey, you got this thing to do for the whisper training course. I'm like, oh, right. But then other times it's like some kind of fear, but usually I know now just to brush it off. Not to brush it off, it just be like, that's not anything I'm actually afraid of. So like the nighttime heebie-jeebies used to be like 3:30 in the morning, you'd wake up and you just be like completely terrified about something. And what finally I realized was I would just ask myself, am I scared about this at 3:30 in the afternoon? If the 3:30 p.m. version of me is not worried about this, then I'm not going to let the 3:30 a.m. version of me be worried about that.
Oh, snap.
helps
That's
so much.
amazing.
It helps
I
so
love
much to
that.
just get rid of those weebie-jeebies. I don't know what they are. Some kind of dark energy. My friend's kids has a kid that can see dark orbs that come in at nighttime into his room, like like energy orbs.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like the dark ones. And so I told her, I was like, well, they're Catholic. So I was like, why don't you just tell him to have Jesus take care of it? Because like he doesn't have to put up with that shit if he doesn't want to. So he's like 8. Anyway, so there's something at night, like the heebie-jeebies are real.
That's adorable. Yeah, and like don't beat yourself up ever for, and I say this because I need to hear it, for where you are, but it does feel like in the month of October, if you hit the point where you're like, I'm just ready for this story to be over, that's then the acknowledgement of, okay, you've run it out. It's done. It's played out. It's time to let it go. It's time to move on. 3 p.m. you is not interested in what 3 a.m. you is battling throughout the day. So like, do a reset.
Yeah. And you've got some breath work on your website that they can be doing resets with.
I do. So come on over to breathworkboss.co and get yourself a breath work experience and meditation. Let that shit go.
Yeah.
Man, life is too short to hang on to the energy that we just don't need to hang on to.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else that's coming in for this Six of Diamonds, what goes around month?
What'd you get?
First of all, kind of a celebration energy, and then like they're very much like a picnic blanket laying around on the ground staring up at the sky kind of energy.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, just like taking those. They showed me that to me a lot, but usually it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that is the Six of Diamonds thing.
Oh my God, it is. I saw like a record player. So playing music, and sometimes we see the record player because there's grooves, which also makes sense for October, like these grooves that are sort of etched into our way of being that we just go to unconsciously. So they're just like put on music and elevate the mood, elevate the frequency.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to have your go-to list of, there's a couple of examples we just gave you, like your go-to list of things that you do to shift yourself out of the funk.
Yeah.
It's reminding me of, I just finished listening to twice in a row Lee Harris's book called The Future Human, where he channels about what's upcoming for us. And something you said earlier reminded me, and it wasn't in this book, but you said it was in his, maybe another video, where like we think things are insane right now, but 2026 and 2027 are supposed to be worse.
Yeah,
according to him, who's not an astrologer, and several astrologers that I listen to. Yay!
Yeah, super. So you get these practices on point now while it's still somewhat calm, quote unquote calm.
Now, there was something else that I was going to say that he mentioned in that book, but I don't know what it is now. It is gone from my brain.
Well,
I'm
and
sure
maybe it'll come back
make its way
or
around eventually.
yeah. That's okay.
Damn it.
Damn it, Janet.
Well, this is not it, but this is something that I thought was really interesting, which I've kind of heard before, but maybe not in this, because we were talking about nighttime and dream time. And his channel says, the Z's that he channels says that they say that don't get pissed off about having a bad dream, because if you were working through it in dream time, it probably means you don't have to work through it in real life. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy, and I'm a very vivid dreamer, and I'm really glad that I don't have to deal with some of that shit in real life that I dream about. I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to deal with that in the waking hours. I like that.
Yeah. So it's easier to kind of let it go, I think, because sometimes like a dream can affect your whole day and you just feel funky the whole day. But if you look at it from that perspective, then it probably will help you shift out of the energy more quickly in the morning when you wake up, like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
The fuck that was is something you don't have to deal with now.
That is the fuck that was.
So yay. Yeah. So celebrate that.
All right. I like it. Anything else?
We Candy, I did a reading on Candy the other day, and they showed me that video clip from Parks and Rec where like the sister and the brother, they're not really main characters, but they're in the show for a little while, and the one guy like he pretends like it's like he creates his own funeral. And so they go, and then they're trying to sneak away, and they're like, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. And they're kind of like creeping away, but they're singing the song. It's hilarious.
Oh, is
Can
that
you
your
remember?
upstairs? Yes.
Okay, so anyway, when I closed my eyes just now, they were showing me that again. And for Candy, the energy, it wasn't about being suspicious. It was about the way they're walking. They're kind of like creeping along. And that's sort of like what this energy is for October too. It's like step by step, or like just kind of creeping along. For most people, it's probably a good idea not to make any huge decisions, which it seems like the energy of this card and what we got at the beginning of the reading is it's a self-reflective month versus like a pedal to the metal kind of like all systems go month. So it's like, and they're kind of like, this is kind of true a lot of times, but we're just sort of taking steps right now toward our next thing in the month of October. I have no idea what's going on with astrology, but it kind of feels like, I don't think there's a Mercury retrograde, but it kind of feels like that. It's like the systems, it's not all systems go. It's just like, do this self-reflection, kind of get rid of some things you don't want in your life anymore. And then it's like the energy will open up later for the big, big steps to be taken.
Oh my God. Last night, Justin asked me how I was feeling. And I was like, I'm going to use this analogy. I feel like I'm on a surfboard floating in the ocean. So that's a lovely feeling, but I'm waiting to catch the wave. Like, I know what's coming. I don't know how big it'll be. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know where it's going to take me, but it's not here yet. And I can't do anything until it gets here. So I'm just sort of out here floating around, just waiting for the wave to arrive and take me to the next place.
Yeah, and you can't make the ocean make the wave happen.
No, I cannot. I can't fake it. I can't pretend. No, you just got to wait for it. So yeah, I like that. October.
So that's why the dance party, the picnicking, the enjoying fall, if you have, if you're living in the Northern Hemisphere, like, or spring, if you're not, like those is like micro activities that make things fun. And I just sent Candy a meme actually that was about how, like, I forget what it said basically, but it's like you're like how much new activities and new places like can revive your spirit. So it doesn't mean you have to take a huge expensive trip, but it's like, go to that little small town you've never been to, go to that new coffee shop you haven't seen, go to this neighborhood you haven't been to in a while. It's just that right there can just fully revive you having that new experience, because the routine is what makes life feel so kind of like mundane. I mean, I love routine, but I'm also terrible at it because I have too much Aries in my chart. But like after a few days, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm brushing my teeth again, I guess.
Where did the whole day go? Here I am brushing my teeth again.
I have to make my fucking breakfast again. So it's like you get into that rhythm, but it's like just those little new things can break the rhythm. And so insert some of those into your month to help it feel like to give it that extra boost of excitement or whatever.
Yeah, I love that. You tell me that regularly. That comes through in readings a lot for me. 6 of Diamonds is you can have your routine, but insert like once a week something out of the ordinary, something unusual, something that kind of is on that list of things that you want to do, see, or try that you haven't gotten around to yet because you're too busy sticking to your routine. Go do that.
Right.
And it's true. One little thing changes it.
One little thing. It does. And there are people listening who are, I'm going to say like 5s. We'll call you out if you're a 5. You might already be doing too many new things all the time. So you might need to actually do some routine. So there will be some exceptions, but it's like whatever. If you're doing too many new things, you need routine, do more routine. If it's the opposite, do what we just said.
Yeah. Let us know. How does it feel for you? What's October like? Yeah.
And speaking of letting us know, we have the ability to send in questions, and we can ask our higher selves questions that you have asked us to ask them. So these questions
said another
can be
way.
anything.
It's like a free psychic reading.
It is personal. We don't care. Ask whatever you want. Just ask. We'll ask whatever, and they'll tell you it's a stupid question. Maybe. No, they don't. They're usually like, that's not what you mean. Yeah. This is what you're really asking. That's what we hear from them. So
yeah, our higher selves don't say shit stupid, but we might.
That's true. They don't. We do. We also tell them to fuck off a lot, which we haven't talked about, and we will in the podcast coming up here soon. Yeah, so we would love to have your questions, because like that is, oh my God, that's like my life's dream.
So much good information comes through. So if you're like, well, I have this really specific question no one is going to want to hear the answer to, I can guarantee you there will be at least one one nugget of wisdom in a response to your very specific question that will probably change at least one other person's life. It happens every single time.
I mean, there aren't like columns in every magazine and newspaper that have ever existed for no reason. Remember Dear
story.
Abby, Ann Landers, like just ask your questions. So check out that link on our website and the podcast page.
Yeah. All right, guys. Talk to you next time. Bye, Queens.
That wraps this episode of One Card Shy. Did you love it? Leave us a review, share it with your friends, and sign up for our monthly crown straightener. Bonus, you'll get our free Claim Your Crown guide when you subscribe.
And be sure to find us on Instagram and check out our website. Both are rainworld.co. All the links are below. See you next time, Queens.